at this thing. Look at this fucking thing.
Look at it! Look at it! Look at it!
If you knew nothing about League of Legends, what kind of character would you think this is? If you said an engaged tank, then you are a liar and lying is naughty. Go to the naughty cage. Every other tank in the game is some buff guy, hulking monster, or at the very least wears what could charitably be called armor. But Amumu is a literal crying child. The only way he's mitigating damage is with the I'm just a little guy gambit. Mummies aren't exactly known for their sturdiness either. If anything, they're more closely associated with casters, specifically a curse of some kind, and that is reflected in Amumu's kit in spades. About the only thing in Amumu's design that could signify he's meant to be tanky is the passive on his E, because children feel less pain during a tantrum? I'll have to test that out sometime. Yeah, think about that next time you let your brat scream its head off all throughout the store, Carol. We'll see how pain resistant it is when I break out the steel chair. Now, I'm no game designer, but if I had to venture a guess, I'd say the tank designation came later in the design process. Some rioter probably noticed that a character whose whole game plan was to stand in the middle of the enemy team and slowly cry them to death might benefit from lasting longer than half a second against them. This juxtaposition of design and gameplay is unlike anything I've ever seen in video games, and I probably wouldn't be playing League of Legends today if Amumu didn't exist. The novelty of a character who defied the archetypical design for its role drew me in more than any aspect of gameplay or lore. Well, lore that's still canon at least. RIP Institute of War. It's such a shame then that we'll likely never see another character like Amumu in League again. An even greater shame is that it's entirely our fault. I consider myself a bit of a weird champ enjoyer. The fuck is that thing? No, I mean I tend to gravitate towards characters with some sort of quirk in their design, their gameplay, or even just non-standard itemization. I also do not spend money on this game. But you know who does? The people buying every Lux, Kai'Sa, and Ahri skin. This isn't anything new, mind you. Much like Amumu, the pursuit of broad appeal has been with the game since the beginning. For every silly goober Riot makes, they release half a dozen conventionally attractive humanoids in varying degrees of fetish gear. Why? For the same reason Disney keeps pumping out Marvel and Star Wars crap long after you personally stopped giving a shit. It's where the money is. Riot and its puppet masters are a business. They exist to turn a profit first and make fun games second. What incentive do they have to prepare a perfectly seared Wagyu steak seasoned specifically to your palate when most people are cool with Burger King? That's not to say that Riot is completely blameless. Scrapping every project that doesn't bring in KDA levels of cash is the sign of a studio that has given up. But some of the stuff they get rid of just makes sense. As much as the vocal minority loves to crawl out of the woodwork to bitch whenever something like Dominion or Twisted Treeline goes away, Riot always claps back with receipts asking why the fuck you weren't playing it then. Personally, I'm of the mind that there is no perfect pasta sauce, only perfect pasta sauces. I just also acknowledge that marinara is the moneymaker keeping the lights on. Ideally, the ambitious niche projects would exist in equilibrium with the mass appeal tentpole stuff. As risk-averse as the entertainment industry as a whole can be, the only way to find the next big cash cow once the last one's been milked dry is to give a chance to an untested young bull. That being said, I haven't completely lost hope in Riot Games. Amumu was lightning in a bottle, but every now and then I'll see someone at Riot out in a thunderstorm with an empty yoo-hoo. Sometimes they fail, sometimes they don't. The important part is that they're still trying. As much as they can under the constraints of capitalism, that is. Sometimes you make art, other times you make rent. The only exception is fetish art. Unique enough to qualify as the former, with a concerning number of people willing and able to provide the latter.